Hello, everybody. Welcome to the waiting room. I hope you guys are having a good day. We're gonna get started in about 4 minutes. You guys are definitely free to unmute yourselves and share your video if you would like. But once this starts, I think I'm gonna have to mute everybody. There are times where people end up unmuting themselves mid-workshop. So if that happens, I'll just find it and mute you again. But yes, welcome to the Laser Map Maker Workshop. I'll do an intro in a few minutes. I'm just going to give some guests a little bit of time to join. And I'm super excited. So Gary, Dale, Wayne, hi guys. All right, so I'm going to see if I can turn the waiting room off and people can just jump in. I tried something new today, so I don't have to admit people the whole time, and I think it worked. So can you guys do me a favor and find the little chat button and go ahead and open up your chat and just say hello. I want to make sure your chat is working and you're awake and excited. Yay! I guess I have like a little sound that dings when I get chats. So your chat is working and you're here. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for doing that. It's always nice to know when the things are working. I see quite a few people have joined us. Welcome, welcome. We just have 2 more minutes to go, and then I'm going to get started. So I'll probably repeat this 1 or 2 more times, but if you are just entering the chat, entering the workshop, you can show your face by turning on your video if you would like. It's not required, but it definitely helps with things feeling a little more lively on my end, so I'm not just talking to a screen. I love to interact with you guys. But yeah, feel free to turn on your video. I will have everyone muted when the workshop starts. But then towards the end, we're going to do like an open Q&A. So you guys can always unmute yourselves and ask questions, and we can go through the studio and all that fun stuff. Welcome, welcome. All right. Thanks for joining the Laser Map Maker Workshop.
Perfecto, le dije que no creía que
We're
mañana
going to
pudiera
go
ir.
over the basics of creating a layered map. We're going to use what's called a basic city map template in the site. So all you guys have to do is just sit back, relax, enjoy the workshop. It may be easier for you to just kind of absorb it through the workshop. But if you have multiple screens or you want to try and follow along, just go ahead and log into your Laser Map Maker account. Doesn't matter if it's a paid subscription, a free subscription. If you would like to follow along and kind of play around in the studio, you can absolutely do that while I go through it. Welcome, welcome. So there are some people. Let me introduce myself because it is 6 o'clock and I like to get started when the workshop starts because I know how valuable your time is. I don't want to fill it up with fluff. I will say it is scheduled for 45 minutes. So, if you guys want to ask any questions and it ends up being a little bit longer, that's fine. But please know that the workshop is scheduled for 45 minutes. It's all going to be on Zoom. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see all the things. And then someone asked in the chat, if you haven't heard me already, please click on the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom screen so that you can open up the chat. If I have everyone muted during the workshop, which I'm going to do soon, I see some of your mics are turned on.
o tesoro el
Definitely
maestro.
turn on your camera if you want, but open up the chat, type in your questions as they come up, and then I can take a
Mejor el
peek
volumen
at
tan bajo,
them
de
throughout the
sí, yo
workshop, and
tengo-
I'll either answer them right on the spot or I'll answer them towards the end.
¿Dónde está la bocina?
Amanda, can we
Creo que está en la cocina, ¿no? ¿Me lo
hold
das?
on? You can't hear me? Let's see if I can mute all. I see that my mic is working. I'm gonna mute everyone. So I think we're good.
Yeah, you're working great.
Adina, can you hear me now? Oh, I see some barbecue. That must be Tom.
That's Tom.
All right. Oh, you couldn't
Georgia
hear us
Tom.
over him. I'm sorry. I feel like I would have heard that because is my volume all the way up? These are good things to check before we get started. Yeah, my volume's up. We're good to go. I'm hearing dings. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Levitt. I am here with Laser Map Maker to teach you how to use the studio so you can create your first layered map. I see there are a few familiar faces in this workshop, so it's great to see you guys again. But I also see several new names and faces, so thank you so much for joining. I will start off by saying that just prior to this workshop, there was a fun bonus opportunity that I'm able to share with you guys. So I'm going to share it towards the end. Please, please, please do not let me forget about it. Like it was a pretty, it's a pretty generous opportunity and I'm super excited to share it with you. So if I don't mention it before 6:30, just say, Amanda, reminder, what's the fun thing you wanted to share with us? I mean, it's all fun, but there's like an extra fun thing at the end. So, yes, I'm here to show you Laser Map Maker, and my goal is to get you guys confident so that you can go into the studio and create your first layered map quickly. And just out of curiosity, I am looking in the chat right now. Just out of curiosity, like, why are you here? Are you here because you're brand new and maps are interesting to you? Is there a customer you have who's like, hey, can you make me a map? And you're like, I'm here to learn how to make a map so I can make my customer happy. Is this something that you just want to gift to people? Because I'm here. You're so sweet. So, okay, this is good. I feel like I need to expand this chat because you guys are amazing. I am on the edge of my seat. Hi, Jennifer and Rick. I could just say Jen and Rick. Hi. You guys are amazing. Okay, so another one is I primarily am making maps as GIFs, but I am very, very aware that there's a ton of profit potential in making and selling maps. So I'm just going to share it with you so that you can create it and you can sell the maps. Make money, have fun creating, like what is better? Okay, so yes, some newbies. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention about the timing, I'm going to reiterate this. I did say earlier for anyone who got here earlier, I'm going to say this multiple times. This workshop is from 6 to 6:45. I want to be very respectful of your time because I know I have a global audience tonight. I have someone specifically from the UK and it's going to be like almost midnight by the time this thing is over. So wherever you guys are, thank you so, so much for joining us. I hope you find this informative and inspiring and that I get to share this fun bonus opportunity with you at the end. Hello from Puerto Rico. Very nice to have you. Thank you so much. All right, so I think I can go ahead and share my screen and we could just get right into the meat and potatoes of this. Someone did ask if this is going to be recorded and saved for later. My screen is confirming that I am recording this. So, I would like to say yes. So once this is recorded, we can download it and we can most likely upload it to our YouTube. So we'll see. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So can you guys confirm that you can see my laser map maker screen? You can just type it in the chat because everyone should be muted at this point. I saw a thumbs up, so some of you guys are reacting. Amazing. All right. So thank you so much for chiming in. This is going to make things very helpful and smooth. All right. So welcome to your Laser Map Maker website. If you are not already signed up, you are going to see a login button here. Go ahead and set up your free account. If you want to subscribe and start getting to maps right away, every subscription also comes with a 2-week free trial. The goal is to get you into the software, make sure you're comfortable and confident using it so you can start outputting map files quickly. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So I am already logged in. I'm going to go into the app and it's going to bring me to my project dashboard. So whichever member type you are, whether you're a free member or you're a paid member, you can build as many projects as you want here in this dashboard. I'm going to show you guys how to start a new project. I can show you a little bit behind the scenes of how you can organize your projects by folder so that they are easy to access for you. I'm going to show you how easy it is to duplicate projects so that you can make multiple maps that have a cohesive look, or you can make different proofs for a particular client. Super duper easy. So one thing I do want to point out is that even as a free Laser Map Maker subscriber, you are given 3 free exports every 30 days. And like I told you, I have a special bonus for you guys at the end. So please just remind me to make sure I share that because like my mind was blown when I heard this. So I can't wait. All right. So next thing I want you to do is find us on Facebook. I know not everyone uses Facebook. Oh, look, there we are, the Maker Hour. So we do have official lasermapmaker.com group. And the reason why I love this group, people are very active. They're very helpful. It's a great place to show off not only your finished products, but also your successes and your failures. We all learn from it. We all get inspired from it. I will show you in a moment a file, which is like a quick reference guide for the basic city map I'm going to show you. But also some people just ask me like, what are people making with Laser Map Maker? What is possible? So if you go into the Facebook group, in addition to joining the community, it's completely free to join us. But you can also check out all of the different projects and things that people are sharing under the media tab. So people are making coasters, clocks, custom shapes. They're making large tiled maps. But there's a lot of fun stuff and value just within our Facebook group alone. But in addition to being a part of the community, here's where you can also find the file. So I'm going to walk you through. Thank you so much, Elias. So Elias is in the chat. Elias is here and he just put the link to the Facebook group in the chat. So if you guys want to click it and join it, please come join us. The more the merrier. So in the Files tab, you will see the Laser Map Maker. So if I ever say LMM or that's typed out, it just stands for Laser Map Maker and it's a quick reference guide. And we are constantly taking in feedback and finding ways to make things quicker and faster for you to get your vector files for your maps. So it is possible that this will be updated multiple times. But as things get updated, I will post them in here. And you can access this PDF. I already opened it, so I'm just going to give you a quick glance at essentially what we'll be running through today in our workshop. So you can start a new map, also called new project in the dashboard. I will show you how to quickly reposition, refine where your location is set to. And then we will be able to export our files, and then I'll show you in Lightburn what I do with those files to get them ready. All right, so is everyone good so far? I gave you a quick intro. I showcased what we're going to be going over in today's workshop. You guys are active in the chat, so you guys know how to ask your questions as they come up. It is not going to interrupt me. So as soon as you have a question, just put it in the chat. And if I can't address it, thanks, Lane. And if I can't address it right away, I will make sure I come back to it. Okie dokie. So now we are, I didn't mean to minimize that. We're going to go back into our project dashboard and we're going to start a new project. So if you took a look at the event graphic, you'll notice that I was focusing on the Fort Lauderdale area. I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, and I am itching to make a map for this area. I think it's very unique with the coastline and the intracoastal. So we are going to start a new project. Here we go. And all I need to do, I'm going to move my mic a little, is start typing in a location. So I'm just going to start typing out Fort Lauderdale, and you'll see that a list of places start to populate. You can put in a city, you can put in an address, you can put in the name of a restaurant. It is a super simple way to search for your location. So I'm just going to go with Fort Lauderdale as my location, and it's going to default my project name to Fort Lauderdale. So you can simply type in here something different. You can rename it. You can just go with it and then rename it later. So these are all things I can show you. So I'm just going to put Fort Lauderdale 527, and we are going to choose our basic city map template. Sure, you can build things from scratch. Sure, you can explore our topography features. But for the sake of today's workshop, we are going to stay focused on our basic city map build. And the beauty of using this template is it already comes with your water, your land, and your roads preloaded. All of your layers are set to go. You could essentially just find your location, preview and export your files, and export them right away. Like, this could be a very quick process for you. So let's just go ahead and show you that. All right, so welcome to Fort Lauderdale. From wherever you are, we all get to hang out in Fort Lauderdale together. So let's kind of get familiar with what we're looking at on our screen here. So the left-hand side, you're going to see the name of my project. You're going to see my preloaded layers. So we have our land layer with our water pockets cut out. We're going to have our land engraved details on here. I like to call this my minor roads layer. And then we're going to have another layer that sits right on top. And this is going to be our, what I like to call my major roads cut layer. There are ways that you could simply reorganize how your layers are stacked, but with the template, the beauty is you don't have to think about anything like that. You can simply say, where exactly do I want to zoom or reposition my map? Maybe I want to focus on Port Everglades here. Maybe I like this kind of yin and yang vibe I'm getting. All you have to do is zoom in, zoom out. You can reposition your map, and you can just click on Preview Export and see what those files are going to look like. So I did click Preview Export because I want to show you how quick and simple this process is. But I promise you, I am going to go back into the studio and show you some things that I might want to edit or how I would tweak it. So just by looking at this preview section, this is going to show me what will be vectorized, what will my final files look like once I actually export them. Your preview export screen, you're not actually exporting anything. You are just looking at it to see, is this what I want to go with? If so, you just click on next, next, and export. So if all my files are good to go, I can just proceed with exporting it. So what are we looking at in our preview screen? And then let's go back into the studio and play with it a little bit more and get familiar with what's going on, what tools we have access to in our dashboard. All right, I don't see any comments yet, so I'm assuming everyone is having a good time following along. Great job. All right, so this is going to be, you'll see a little summary on the side. This is going to be our land and water cut. So in our studio, anywhere we use white basically just means no data. So when you look at the preview screen, whatever was white before actually now shows as a transparency grid. So anywhere you see this gray line, so we have our border here. That's one of the beautiful benefits of using Laser Map Maker. So instead of having a lot of random bits of land where you have to piece it together manually, the borders hold all of that together for you. Now, in this case, with my land layers, I'm going to have some small pieces of land that I would just glue individually. Or I can create tabs in Lightburn so that I can keep everything connected as one solid piece. There's a lot of ways to play with that. So this is my land layer. And if you're not familiar with Laser Map Maker and how their subscription works, each layer of data is considered a layer export. You may have also heard the term credits as well. So depending on the subscription that you have, each export is going to come out of your bank, and you can just keep creating maps, as many credits as you've got. And like I mentioned before, even if you just want to try this out for free, you just sign up for an account and you get 3 layer exports, also known as credits. You'll get 3 layer exports every 30 days. So there is no excuse. Everyone here can make a map. And I'm going to show you some more things about the studio and ways we can customize it. All right, so here's our land layer. And I wanted to explain the credits and the data because one part that is a little bit confusing is that even though my minor roads, these kind of black lines you're seeing on the screen, even though it's its own layer, it will actually be stacked right on top of our land. So we just tell our laser, anything that's gray, I want you to cut it. And anything that is black, remember, they're going to be put on top of each other, I want you to engrave it. So these are 2 separate sets of data, but we're going to process it on one sheet of material. So imagine this is cut out of Baltic birch. I'm going to cut all those lines. And on the same piece of material at the same time, I'm going to tell my laser here to engrave it. Okay. And then our third layer export, this one kind of stands alone by itself. So this one would be cut, maybe I'll use black acrylic. Hopefully you can see this, but like here's an example of what this layer would look like. Here's our black acrylic layer. For anyone in the workshop tonight who's at the K&G Jamboree, you'll notice I kind of bedazzled mine with some gold hardware, but that's just a little visual for you. So here are the layer exports. This is what they'll look like. If you like the way everything sits, if each layer shows only one color, because you don't want a bunch of colors on these screens, if everything looks good, you can go ahead and export it. I see some things that I want to change, but I also know there are some things in the studio that I want to teach you guys. So we're actually going to get out of our preview screen and we're going to go back into the studio. Before I do that, I want to check if there if there are any comment. If I look this way, it's because I have 2 screens and I have the chat over here. I'm not distracted, I promise. I'm all in. Okay, so Elias put a little summary in there. I don't see any new questions. I do see a smiley face. Thanks, Jen and Rick, whoever's behind the keyboard. All right, so let's get out of our preview screen. I just clicked the X in the top right corner. And one thing I wanted to also mention is as soon as you open the studio, you're gonna notice that there's a faint hint of a satellite overlay layer in here. So if you need a little bit of help figuring out where to position your map, you have some tools on the right-hand side. One of those tools is the satellite overlay view. And if I need help finding the position I'm trying to locate, I could just turn my satellite all the way up and it can help me kind of pinpoint what building or what beach or what neighborhood that I want to focus on. Once you feel like you've positioned everything well, you no longer need the satellite overlay. You can just turn it all the way down to 0. And now what you see in white is where the water is. Remember, white is no data, so that's just going to get cut away. Where you see gray is going to be all of your land. And wherever you see black is some type of road. So one thing you might remember from our preview screen is that we had our major roads as their own layer, but then we had a bunch of the smaller black lines that were going to end up being engraved on the land layer. If this view ever confuses you, you can always click on the 3 dots next to the layer and you can start hiding these layers so that you're only looking at what's underneath. So all I did was click the 3 dots, I clicked the little eyeball, and it's hiding each of those layers so I can look at them individually. I find it very simple to go into the preview export screen, but maybe turning things on or off with the eyeball will allow you to differentiate what layer you're looking at. So I'm going to turn my engrave roads back on. I'm going to turn on my major roads again. And that's what I've got so far. So are there any questions so far? On a given layer with roads, I know road types can be added and removed. Can a specific road be moved? Jeff, I am so glad you asked. Yes, there is a way. So let's go back to our tools. So remember, our layers, our features are all on the left, and all of our tools are going to be on the right. So specifically focusing on Jeff's question, one of the tools is called Toggle Inspect Mode. You can hover over any of these tools and it will tell you what we're looking at. So the Toggle Inspect Mode, when you click it, it turns it on. You'll notice I have a little crosshair as my mouse now. So I can click over, I don't know if you caught this, but in my preview export, I had a bunch of random dots. So I'm going to show you in 2 areas. So first, please don't get scared when I expand my layer. But when you use the basic city map template, all of the features are preloaded for you. There are ways they can be removed. You just hide them. And if you like the way it looks hidden, then you delete them. You can always add more. There's a way to go into the features and add more. But specifically for me, what I'm looking for are kind of these random dots. So do you see how I hovered over those random dots? They're not random, they're actual bridges. But if you look at the bottom center of my screen, when I hover over it, it's telling me what data I might be looking at. So we have our different bridge types here. So when I click on it, I just clicked on it with my mouse. It's going to highlight those pieces of data right in my layers panel. The benefit of that is not only does it identify it for me, it selects them for me in the panel, and I can use this style button to change the style of them. I can click on the 3 dots and hide it, and if I like the way my map is looking without this data hidden, then I would proceed to delete it. So that is what I recommend. If you're thinking about deleting certain features, hide it first, see if you like that look, and then if you like it hidden, proceed with deleting it. If you delete it first, you just have to go back into your layer. So let me shrink this again. So if I wanted to add features, I could go into my update layers feature and I can just kind of scroll through here. What roads do I want? Maybe I want to add bridges. This is how I would do all of that. I'm not going to get too deep into those features because I think the beauty of what I'm teaching you guys tonight is how simple it is to use the basic city map template and quickly and easily export your files. So I did mention I kind of wanted to get rid of these guys. So let me hover over it and let me do what I was teaching you. So I'm clicking the eyeball on and off. I'm waiting to see these guys go away. So let's click the eyeball here. Let's click the eyeball here. Okay, great. So this is the layer I definitely want to delete. It's going to get rid of those overlapping road lines. They're not connected to anything. They do represent bridges, but I'm just going to go ahead and delete them because I like the way my map looks without it. So let's delete it. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Please delete it. Okay, and I'm fine with the way this looks without that. Let's delete it. And I'm fine with that. Let's delete it. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my toggle inspect mode and I'm going to check in with Jeff. How are you feeling about that, Jeff? Does that answer your question? So on a given layer with roads, there are road types. How can they be added or removed? And how do you locate the specific road that you want to move? The short answer to that question is use toggle inspect mode. But based off of what I saw on my preview export screen and those kind of random blips of major roads, I didn't want those there. They wouldn't be connected to anything. So I found it in the studio using my toggle inspect mode. I deleted it and I'm very happy with the results. So how are you feeling about that, Jeff? Elias also answered it in the chat, so you can always refer back to that. Okay, on the roads cut layer, is there a way to make them thicker? Yes, you absolutely can. So one thing you can do, so I have all my roads expanded here. If I wanted to edit them all at the same time, there's a little button right here with some check marks. And if you hover over it, it tells you what it's going to do. I wanted to select all the features in this layer. Yes, indeed. And then when I did that, you notice how this little style button popped up? So this is what's going to allow me to style them all at the same time. So I am just going to expand these layers just so you can see I don't have anything else selected except for what's in my road cut layer. I'm going to click on style and I'm just going to click this plus button and I want you to look at what's happening with my major roads layer. It's getting thicker. I will give you a quick example of something I would redo. I wish I could see this. I don't know how the reflection is going to behave with you guys. But in this example, I did not thicken my roads, and I definitely would if I did this again. So if you ever need to thicken up any of your lines, that is the way to do it. You could do them one at a time, or if you already know you want to treat all of your roads the same, you just select all the features within that layer and you can group style them. Is that good? Your background is covering it up. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. You can always check out the Facebook group media and check out the project there. What is my go-to thickness? I'd probably say around 20. I'm gonna go with 20, but in some cases, especially depending on how small the item's gonna be, like, is this gonna be a coaster? Is this gonna be a 24-inch map? Depending on the final size of your map, that may determine what thickness roads you wanna go with. So Elias suggests above 10 if you are making a map that will be under 3 or 4 inches. Wayne likes to use 15. Wayne has become a map making pro. Awesome. All right, so hopefully you guys are doing great. I love that you're adding in your feedback in the chat. That is amazing. So I am going to, let's bring it back down to 15 since this was a suggested thickness. There are many tools we can explore here. let's say you are in the studio, but you're like, hey, I want to change my location. You could just use this little magnifying glass and you can change that. If you want coordinates for wherever you're focused on, so I was at an event last week and I made a map for this location and I pulled the coordinates right from Laser Map Maker and I put that on a custom badge that I added to the front of the map. So you can get your coordinates right in here. If you want a specific zoom level for all of your projects, let's say you want a more cohesive look for all of your maps, you can find the perfect zoom level for that and you can make it consistent across the board. You have rotate options, you have scale options. So what is scale? Let me close this so we don't get distracted. So right now, I'm actually going to copy this number so I can go right back into it. So let's unselect. So I'm just going to use my mouse and I'm going to start zooming out and I want you to take a look at what starts to change. My roads are pretty thick and blobby, so it might be a little challenging. But right here, so let's focus on this area. You see how you can see the tiny minor engraved roads, but then I back up a little bit and then I lose them. So for our map makers who are trying to capture a large lake area, maybe there's some roads around that lake, but if they zoom out too far to capture the entire lake, they lose details that they want to keep. So one very simple way to get around that is instead of just zooming in or zooming out, you use what's called the map scale feature. And for the sake of this demo, I'm going to reduce my road thickness for a moment. Let's just go down to 7. And another way to make my engraved details a little more obvious to you so you can learn as I go. So I want to change all of my engraved details to blue. So maybe this is a little more obvious for you. So all of my minor engraved roads that are going to be engraved onto my land, I now have represented as blue. And all of my major roads that are going to be cut on their own layer are represented as black. So going back to our zoom versus map scale situation. So here is the zoom out level where they're still retained. So now instead of zooming out and losing those details, I'm going to click on map scale and you'll see what happens when I start to increase my map scale. So I'm getting further and further away, but I still have all my blue engraved minor roads. So if you guys ever find that zooming out causes you to lose details, just use your map scale instead of continuing to zoom out, and that should help you keep all of your road data. Okay, so if I did this correctly, this should bring me back to the zoom where I was before. Yeah, it did, but I'm in a slightly different location. Okay, so this is good. Another thing I can show you is if you have decided on the perfect location for your map and you don't want to accidentally get click happy and move it, you can use what's called the toggle lock mode. So now I'm clicking, but my map isn't moving. So once you have defined where you want your map to be, you can simply lock it so that way you don't accidentally budge it. And it's going to automatically gray out things that might affect you to change your map. I'm going to show you one more tool because I want to make sure I have time to show you how I set this up in Lightburn so I get it ready for my laser. But there are so many shapes you can choose from. You don't have to choose from a basic square. You can click on map shape. It could be a geometric shape. It could be something related to the holidays coming up. For any of you guys who are like pumping out a lot of holiday things for Christmas in July, this might be a great thing for you to use. And we also have 50 states currently loaded in there, so the 50 US states. So here are our map shapes, and I'm gonna just try one out. If you know me, you know I love hearts, so I'll just show you the heart. So what this does is it automatically isolates all of the data around that shape and it is perfectly aligned and now attached to that shape's border. So if you want to go with something a little different other than a square, you can absolutely do that. Okay, now someone asked about the road thickness, and then we started saying, well, if your final product's going to be 3 to 4 inches, or maybe it's a large 24-inch map or larger even beyond that. So we work with what is called aspect ratios. Some of you guys might be familiar with it. Someone did ask if you can import your own map shape, and I will say, as Laser Map Maker Studio sits, we have shapes available to you. Whether that becomes available to you in the future or not, you'll just have to stay tuned. But otherwise, that's something you would just handle in your design software after you've exported your map data. Will we be adding more shapes in the future? We just added all of our holiday shapes, so I do not see why not. But everything that we have created is already uploaded in the map shapes for you. We always are listening to your feedback, so if you have suggestions for us, please just share it with us. You can email us at support@lasermapmaker.com. You can click this little chat at the bottom right. You can always message us. You can post it in the Facebook group. So please, we love your feedback. It just helps make it better. Like, what could be better than that? You know, we are a software company that is listening to your feedback and making tweaks all the time so that it's faster and better and more exciting to use. So we use an aspect ratio and it's not specific units of measurements, but you can also just input your own numbers there, and then you can just scale it in your design software afterwards. So the last map I made at the most recent event we went to, I knew I wanted it to be 5 by 7, so 5 inches by 7 inches. So instead of figuring out what aspect ratio I wanted to use or doing math, I just typed in 5 by 7, and you can switch the orientation so it's landscape versus portrait. And once you're in your design software, then you just put in your units of measurement. So maybe it's inches or millimeters, whatever you're working with. I do want to go back to my 1-to-1 ratio because I like the way we had this set up. And I locked it. No, I didn't. I unlocked it. I was trying to move it. So this is Port Everglades. This is Fort Lauderdale Airport. If you haven't visited Fort Lauderdale yet, when you do, let me know. There's a lot of fun things to do around here. But I'm ready. I'm super happy with my map. I'm ready to export it. I want to bring it into Lightburn, and I want to get it ready for my laser. So I'm going to show you how quickly I can do this. We're done with Facebook, so let's close that. It is prepping all of my map layers. Thank you so much. Now I see that mine got adjusted here, so I want to adjust it a little bit so I lose some of those features. Let's do it again. So you can use preview export as many times as you want. You can make adjustments in the studio as many times as you want. No matter what membership you're under, you can build as many projects as you want. So one thing I want to emphasize here is there are no limits. Just create. We want you to create. We want you to have fun. And if you're doing this for business, we want you to make money with it too. So I'm happy with my layers. This is 3 different sets of data, so it will cost me 3 map layer exports. And once you actually export your files, those layer credits, those layer exports do come out of your account. So we just want to double check that you are sure. So you click export, you have a confirmation screen, and you just go ahead and export. So I am running a demo call and I'm sharing my screen. So we're going to see how this works with the video. Wonder if I need to stop sharing my screen for this to work. Can you please go over tiling? Okay, so for the sake of time and for the sake of the basic city map template, I'm not going to go over tiling, but I will say it's super easy to do. When you're in your preview export screen and you're looking at your tiling, all you have to do is enable it, and you just tell it how many rows and columns you want. So I'm actually going to stop sharing for a moment. And I'm going to refresh this. So one little thing I've learned is sometimes when I'm sharing my screen, when you are preparing your layers to upload, you want to stay on that tab. If you navigate away from that tab, weird things will happen. And I'm noticing that happens sometimes when I share my screen. So I'm just running through the process again, and I'm going to export my files. And fortunately for you, I have already put them into Lightburn, so I can quickly upload them either way. But I will tell you, the stop sharing the screen has already worked. My layers have already uploaded. So let me share my screen again. Welcome back to my party. So can you guys see my screen? So this is what it looks like. I'm hoping I didn't do this too soon, but it uploaded all of my map layers. It's showing me that those pieces of data are processing, and then you will see previews here, and you can just download them and then bring them into Lightburn. So I should keep this open while it's processing, but I do see what time it is, so I feel like I need to jump into Lightburn. Okay, so we're just gonna jump into Lightburn while that's still processing, and I can show you how I would bring those layers in. So here are my projects. So you'll notice your files already have prefixes in them with whatever your layers are named. The basic city map template already has them named for you. So when you're in Lightburn, you just need to bring them in one at a time. And I'm gonna put one there. I'm gonna bring in the second one, which is my land engraved data. And I'm gonna put this here. So can you guys start seeing the layers and how they're coming together and how they're so laser friendly? Okay, let's import our last one. So this is our roads cut layer. Okay, so what you will notice is anything that was set to an outline, things that we want to cut, imported a red color, and it is set to line. Anything that we said we want it to engrave, it is black, and Lightburn sets it to fill. Where did the orange come from, Amanda? I'm so glad you asked. Can you mention the importance of keeping things the same color quickly? You only want to use one color in your studio for each data set because Laser Map Maker uses a color tracing technology to vectorize your data. So if you're using multiple colors for your land cut layer, or if you have multiple colors for your engraved roads, it is not going to look right. It will not work the way you want it to. So yes, thank you so much, Wayne. I always appreciate your input. Make sure it's only one color. It's going to make the process very simple for you. All right, as soon as I bring these guys in, I'm going to group everything together. And don't worry, I did not forget about the orange question that you guys are excited to learn about. So I'm just going to group all of my layers so that when I start putting things on top of each other and aligning them, they all make sense. So there are a couple ways you can do this. I just clicked and dragged my engraved data and put it on top of my land cut data. Another thing you can do is you can just highlight your land cut and your land engrave, and you can use this little bullseye here, and it will perfectly align it for you. So this is going to be one sheet of material. Anything that's red, I want it to cut. Anything that's black, I want it to engrave. Over here, this is our roads layer, and I just want it to cut. So this orange line on the outside, I'm going to call it the alignment line. We don't actually want to output that. It is meant to help keep things simple as you start stacking them on top of each other. So in my cut layers panel, I'm just going to say no output and no show. So if that orange line, which helps you align things, confuses you, just turn it off. You could delete it if you want to, whatever's easy for you. But this is essentially ready to go. You just load in your, let's say wood, we're using wood for land. This is going to happen on wood. Let's say we're using black acrylic for our major roads. This is going to be a second cut using your second material. I love to leave myself notes, so I preloaded this so that you guys could see it. But basically this is, even though it was 2 sets of data, it represents 1 sheet of material. There's just 2 things happening. 1 is being cut and 1 is being engraved. And then material 2, all we want to do is cut. The orange line is not necessary after you've aligned everything. This is ready. This is 100% ready. So we went through the studio. I showed you where to find your quick reference guide. I showed you how to set it up in Lightburn. I told you guys that no matter what account you have, you can start creating projects and you can export 3 map layers at the very minimum. But I did tell you, thank you, Harold. I did not forget about the fun surprise. So I have a little challenge for you. So the challenge is, now that we've completed our workshop, if you go in to lasermapmaker.com and create a map using the basic city map template, if you create something physical in the next 24 hours, you take a photo of it, maybe it's you holding it loud and proud, look at what I made, or it could just be a photo of the map. I love to see your smiling faces. You share whatever photo you want, but my goal is to get you guys to go make a map as soon as this workshop is over. Take a photo of what you did, share it in the group, and as long as you share it in the group within the next 24 hours, the Laser Map Maker team is going to issue 20 layer exports just because you completed your challenge. 20! 20! How many maps can you make with 20 layer exports? I am blown away. I hope you guys are excited. Yeah. I hope you guys are very excited. Okay, but someone did ask me a question, which I think is very important to show you. So they said, where's the water? How do you get the water layer? So when you're in Laser Map Maker, you can create a new layer with absolutely no data in it, and it will give you a solid shape for the base of your map. You can use up your layer export if you'd like, or what I would do, I know all this is grouped, but I'm just going to ungroup it really quick. I'm going to select Control U to ungroup, yes. Okay, so I just clicked this outer line. I'm going to duplicate it and move it over. There's my water layer. So your water layer is just a solid shape of whatever map shape you have chosen. I'm going to group this back together so I don't end up accidentally moving it. But I did tell you I like to write myself little notes. So I'm going to put base. This is my water. And I'm just going to say cut. So if you have a lot of water in your area that you're capturing, you're going to want to make sure you make this solid cutout shape. One of the maps that I did here, there wasn't a lot of water in the area, so I only had the 2 layers of materials. If you have a lot of water in your map, you definitely want to create that base, and that will be your first layer. So water is first, anything with land is second, and then major roads will be third. Sorry if my camera is moving on you. Oh, good question. So what do you do with your challenge? All right, so you guys are all going to go make a map after this workshop, right? So we're all going to make our map. We're going to take a photo of it, and we are going to share it in the Facebook group within 24 hours of this workshop ending. So the point of the workshop, the timing of the workshop was 45 minutes. I did want to leave a little bit of extra time if there are additional questions. But hopefully anything that you guys have asked in the chat has been answered. I would imagine whatever membership you're on, whether it's free or paid, or you're the super duper navigator crew, this applies to all. The only criteria was that you made something using the basic city map template, you shared it in the group, and I would also suggest emailing us at support@lasermapmaker.com just to say, hey, just want to let you know I submitted my post from the workshop. I made my map. I'm ready for my credits. Like, if you want to do that, you can. I will also keep an eye on the posts. If you email us, that will make things smooth and quick. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. But I will keep my eyes on the group, and you just have to say something in there so I know you're a part of this workshop, that this was the challenge that you completed. You don't have to mention anything in the post about the 20 extra credits. I will know. Or, better safe than sorry, just email us at support@lasermapmaker.com. So let's see. Is there a way to modify or add street names? How do I get land engraved to contain engraving roads, as all I have is the cut roads? I might have to read that one or two more times. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to show you guys a few more things, but I want you to know the meat and potatoes of the workshop is over. I want you guys to go into your Laser Map Maker account, create your map, share it in the group, email us that you have completed your challenge, and we want to gift you with 20 layer exports simply for completing that challenge. So what I would like to do now, I'm going to address a few more questions and show you guys a few more things in the workshop. We have 7 whole minutes. So for Q&A. So I will show you as much as I can. And then if you have any more questions, we're very easy to find and reach. So don't be shy. Ask us all the questions you want. And hopefully you love the workshop and you will attend the next one. I would also love to invite all of you to, if you would like a one-on-one session, I also am available for demos. So let me actually show you how you can get to the demos. So I'm just going to go to, doesn't matter if you're at lasermapmaker.com or if you're logged in, you could just click on book a demo at the top. And this only shows certain days. Today's the 27th. Okay, so you can book demos here. You'll see the little days in blue to the left. It only does like maybe 2 weeks in advance. So for the most part, it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Pick a time that works for you. You will get a Google Meet link, and we both show up at the same time. And we have a 15-minute demo to go over whatever you need help with. And if you are unable to make it, I just kindly ask that you cancel and or reschedule. But yes, I want to encourage you to be a part of our Facebook community. Schedule a one-on-one demo. Ask us questions. Send us emails. Make your map. Share the photos. I want you to love making maps and things as much as I do, because it really is a joy. Okay, yes, thank you, Rory. The one-on-one demos are a lot of fun. I learn a lot from like your perspectives and things that you might be struggling with, or maybe there's some tweaks we can make to the software to make things even smoother for you. Rory, you might have noticed a couple changes already tonight. So we are listening to you. We want to make things amazing. But yeah, feel free to book a demo. But I did get a few more questions, so let's spend our last few minutes kind of going over it. Should I use this map? Oh, you know what I can do? I can show you in my projects. Let's say I don't want to mess with this map. I will just duplicate it. And then I'm gonna give it a new name. So this will be, let's say, FTL Q&A. I haven't tried using a symbol before. Let's see if I do that right. All right. Oh, look, it was there. I'm just not patient enough. So sorry. Okay, so here's my FTL Fort Lauderdale Q&A session. I'm going to open it in the studio. And now, even though it looks like the same exact project, it is a duplicated one, so my old one does not get altered in any way. This is super helpful if you want to have a cohesive look. Let's say you mess with all the stylings and the road thickness and the aspect ratio, and you want to easily repeat that. This is a great way to do it. I also mentioned that it's a great way to create multiple proofs for the same client so that you are not overwriting your previous files. So duplicating it is super easy and there are a lot of benefits to it. Thank you for joining. It's totally fine if you gotta go. I appreciate you being here. So some of the questions I just saw, and that's why I'm back in here, is how do you add labels to your roads? So there is a way to add labels. There's a way to add engraved buildings. But when you're adding those features, you would have to just know, is this going to be on a cut layer? No. Is this going to be on an engraved layer? Yes. And you would think adding it to the land engrave layer is the thing to do. Maybe I click on the 3 dots, I go into edit my features that are included, and I go and find my labels and add them there. However, what we have learned for the best quality for you guys is to actually create a completely new layer, and I'm just gonna label this labels. I'm gonna name this labels for roads. Sounds good enough to me. So I'm going to click on my labels section. I'm going to go to my road section and I can choose from these options. Maybe I just want street names. So I'm just going to put street names on my labels for roads and tell it to create the layer. So the reason why we want this on its own layer is because when we exported our land water, our engraved details, our cut roads, those are all going to be exported as SVGs. SVGs are scalable vector graphics, so it makes it easy to retain quality as you scale it up or down. When we're talking about labels, the cleanest results are going to come from exporting this as a PNG. You're going to get a 4K high quality graphic, and then you can just use this layer to engrave right on your land layer as well. So just like we stacked the minor roads on top of the land, you can stack the labels on top of that too. So anything that you see on my screen right now that is a label or blue is going to get engraved onto my land. Now, there was another question here. Someone might have asked, I believe it was, is there a way to modify or add street names? So as of this time, like Laser Map Maker is importing data and quickly vectorizing it for you. It's giving you output files quickly. So as far as like any design work or tweaks, just like when we zoom in or zoom out, we're going to gain or lose some data. The same thing applies when you're zooming in or out using this feature. If you want to have a more customized look, instead of using labels from the studio, I'm just going to hide it. Instead of using labels from the studio, I would actually just go into Lightburn, create my text, and put the text in specific areas that I want. If I wanted to add a little heart shape, let's say I'm making this for a customer and they live right here, I could just add a little heart shape and that could engrave where their home is as well. I could create a heart shape all by itself, cut it, and then make it a 3D element on top as well. So hopefully that answers your questions about the labels. I'm glad you found this a great refresher. How do you add labels? Got that. Thank you for recommending the demo. The session was great for a new user. Love the app. Amazing. Make your map, share it with us, and then get your 20 bonus layer exports. I really think that's crazy. This is the first workshop where I've been able to offer that to you guys. So please take advantage of it and have fun with it. I think just share your photo, have some fun, make a map, share your photo. Looks like some of you guys are talking to each other. I love that. Thank you so much. Cheeks, I'm assuming that's Daryl. You're very welcome, Brad. It's good to see all of you. You're very, very welcome. So it is 7:01. We are out of time, but I hope to see you guys around the Facebook group. I hope to see all of your maps in the next 24 hours. Don't forget to post it in the Facebook group and then email us at support@lasermapmaker to confirm you have completed your challenge, and we will gift you with the 20-layer exports. I love all of you. I am going to end this recording and figure out what we're going to do with it so you guys can learn from it at another time. So let me stop sharing. You guys can all say your goodbyes in the chat. Thank you so much. All right. Have a good night, everybody.